He is set to form government for a third consecutive term after a close 34-29 victory in Wednesday's polls. Reacting to the victory, JP leader and Prime Minister-designate Dr. Andrew Holness told supporters his party ran a better campaign based on performance.
I want to thank them personally. I mean, you know, a political campaign, sometimes, you know, when they see the personalities, they forget that they are human beings with feelings and emotions and they can be objectified. It's very difficult, but I want to thank my family here and abroad and all over who have withstood a tremendous onslaught, but they never gave up on me or on the people of Jamaica.
Meanwhile, Dr. Holness says victory was not an easy one. In fact, it was the toughest for him personally, which also tested what he described as the best political team in the Caribbean. He went on to expound on why.
No mistake about it. This was a fight. But we did not descend my political organization. We did not descend to the gutter to fight. We did not seek to trick the people to win. We did not seek to tear down anyone to lift up ourselves. We did not seek to tear down Jamaica in order to be able to administer the affairs of Jamaicans. We ran a clean, disciplined, focused, well-organized campaign. And we proved that we can run a decent campaign and win. And that is how Jamaica has won.
They not like us. They not like us. They not like us.
And going forward, Dr. Holness says the government will place renewed focus on ensuring equal opportunities for all citizens. He emphasized that the delivery of basic public services will be prioritized at an even greater level in this new term.
This government, in our third term, must be laser focused on ensuring that there is prosperity for all Jamaicans. And just to be clear, prosperity doesn't mean riches. For some people, prosperity means peace. They want to live in peace. For some people, prosperity may mean their children getting to university. For some people, prosperity is a car. For others, it is a house. But for most people, it is the road fixed in their community and water in their pipes. And so, we must be focused on delivering these basic public services, which means prosperity for so many. But Jamaica is more than that. Jamaica is a potential to be realized. And for decades, we have underperformed. The story of Jamaica is that we have done so much as a country, but we could have done so much more.
Alive and well, how the People's National Party is responding after Wednesday's general election defeat. PNP President Mark Golding addressed supporters at the party's headquarters Wednesday night as he conceded the election result. Mr. Golding also congratulated the JLP.
Jamaica's democracy is important. We must cherish it. Sometimes it brings bitter disappointments. And I accept the result of these elections, and although obviously I'm very disappointed in the outcome, I think it is only correct to expressly acknowledge the success that our opponents have managed to gain today.
Meanwhile, Mr. Golding says the work starts now to prepare the party to face electors at the next general election. He also highlighted what he described as solid plans put forward by his party.
It was a truly progressive platform, a platform that offered a radical reform to the land tenure issues that have plagued this country for centuries. A radical platform that would have enhanced the standard of living and quality of life of those working families that are struggling to survive now by giving them significantly lower tax burdens on their income. Progressive in a social justice sense as well, around issues such as beach reform, contract work, and other things which really need to be addressed because there are injustices in our society which cannot be tolerated and should be modified and rejected. It was a truly progressive platform, a platform that offered a radical reform to the land tenure issues that have plagued this country for centuries. A radical platform that would have enhanced the standard of living and quality of life of those working families that are struggling to survive now by giving them significantly lower tax burdens on their income. Progressive in a social justice sense as well, around issues such as beach reform, contract work, and other things which really need to be addressed because there are injustices in our society which cannot be tolerated and should be modified and rejected in their current form. So I just want to thank all of the team that came together and developed those ideas and put them.
Now, former Director of Elections Orit Fisher is taking the Electoral Commission of Jamaica ECJ to task over several issues that arose during Wednesday's voting. Mr. Fisher pointed to the long lines at polling stations and what he described as inadequate care for elderly voters, stressing that the ECJ must conduct a thorough reassessment of its procedures. He was speaking Wednesday night on CVM's Decision 2025 Election Watch.
Most people would be unaware that in 2011 and 2016, those were the two highest voter turnout in the history of the country, 2011 and 2016. But the percentages did not reflect that because since continuous registration, the removal of, remember when they had regular enumeration, each time it was a new list. So if 500,000 persons were registered, those 500,000 persons were available to vote, so to speak. But now, since continuous enumeration, a number of persons who have migrated and who would have died and so on would have not been removed from the list. And therefore, that's another thing that the ECJ will have to look at, how to have those persons removed from the list, whether it's a full re-enumeration or some verification.
Now, for the local government by-elections that also happened on Wednesday, the JLP won all three electoral divisions: Chancery Hall in St. Andrew Northwestern, Olympic Gardens in St. Andrew West Central, and Denham Town in Kingston Western. The overall preliminary turnout for the by-elections is approximately 36.1%. Now, the final counting of ballots will commence today, September 4. Now, at designated counting centers, each returning officer will count all the ballots cast for the constituency in the presence of the candidates and or their representatives. Now, consequently, the final count takes a longer period to complete than the preliminary count. And we now head to a quick break, but stay with us more when we come back.